Hello everybody, welcome to HDpiano. My name is Dion. Today we're learning how to play Love Strikes by Katharine McPhee. In this part 1 video we'll learn the introduction and the verses of this song. These parts sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Okay, let's get stuck straight into it. We're going to start with this left hand that's playing arpeggios. Now, arpeggios are chords that are broken up into their individual notes. So, our first chord that we're going to turn into an arpeggio with our left hand is E minor. We're just above middle C. Middle C is right here. So we have our E minor chord of E, G, and B. And this is the order we're going to play these notes in. We have E, G, and B. Our next chord arpeggio is on a D major. Shall we shift down to D, F sharp, and A? We continue downwards to C major, C, E, and G. We then go to a G major chord in our first inversion. We have B, D, and G. And we finish off with an A minor of A, C, and E. So once more time through that sequence, we have E minor, D major, C major, G major, first inversion, A minor. Our right hand joins in on the first beat of each of the arpeggios, as well as the little gap we're leaving between each arpeggio. So, the first note we play with our right hand is a G. Up here, about an octave above where we're playing our left hand arpeggios. So that G comes in at the same time as our low E, or our lowest note in that arpeggio. In that little gap between our E minor and D, we're going to repeat that top note again with our right hand. So we have, as we land on our D major, we move down to F sharp with our right hand. Repeat that F sharp, down to E on top of our C major arpeggio. Repeat the E, down to D on top of our G major arpeggio. And then we finish with a B on top of our A minor. And lastly, a G. One more time, just the right hand. We have G, G, F sharp, E, E, D, D, B, G. Together, nice and slowly, we have 3 and 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So this right hand on our last chord on the A minor comes in on beat 4 E and A. Now, if you've never heard counting like that before, means you haven't dealt a lot with 16th notes before. So this song, we are taking our count of our song, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're dividing those 4 beats up into 4 divisions each. So normally if we're counting our counts, we'd count 1, 2, 3, 4. Eighth notes would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This song moves in 16ths. So we have 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So we count 1 E and a. The E and the A aren't really anything special. They're just short syllables we can make with our mouth when we're counting through things quickly. So again, that little phrase with our counting. We're going to have 3E and a, 4E and a, 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a, 4, a 1E and a. I was running out of breath there. Whew. One more time. 4E and a, 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a, 1E and a. And we hold this, we can pedal out this chord for the rest of the bar. So we have 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a. So this is our first 2 bars of this section. Well, we better get a move on, haven't we, if we're going to get through all of this section. So the next 2 bars repeat fairly similarly. So we have the same first bar. Up to this point here. And then we're going to repeat 2 of the lower notes with our left hand. On beats 2E, we're going to play C. And on 2 and, we play the E. So we have, through this bar, 1E and a, 2E and a. One more time. 4E and a, 1E and a, 2E and a. And of course, because this song is nice and flowing, I'm using my sustain pedal. If I didn't have the sustain pedal, then you might hear those notes a bit more clearly, but not as flowing. So use the pedal if you feel comfortable using it. It will help you get nice and smooth through these sections. So that second section again. 1E and a, 2E and a, 3E and a, 4E and a, back to the top. And the second time through. So that section there is our introduction. That's before any of the singing starts. The first part of our verse is that exact same phrase again. So we're going to skip ahead. After we've gone through that phrase twice, we basically do the same thing down 1 octave. So we're shifting our right hand down to just above middle C, and our left hand is now below middle C. At the end of that first rundown, we're going to have one little pickup note with our left hand before we begin our section again. So we've come down. And before we kick back into our next bar, we're going to have this little pickup of our G before we land back on our beat 1 of our next bar. So we have 4E and a, 1E and a, 2. So it's right at the very end of the preceding bar on count 4E and a. Now that little pickup note, in the scheme of things, isn't super important. So if you don't play that one, no one will notice except for us. We'll be watching you. But do what you can. As I said, not a super important note, but it's in the song. If you want to play it note for note, you're playing that extra little note with your left hand. One more time with that. We have. Three E and a, 4E and a, 1. And this last time through, after we've come down through our... We don't do quite as tricky a little extra bit of rhythm on the end of the bar. We have 1 E and a, 2 E and a. So this C comes down on beat 2 and. 1 E, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4. So it's a little less ornamental than when we're playing it up the extra octave. How are you feeling? I'm going to go through this a couple of times with you. One a little bit slower, and then one at full speed. So first time through here, going to do that whole section, the intro, the 2 times through for the intro, the higher section and the lower section for our first verse at a bit of a slower tempo. So we're going to have 3 E and 4 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Into our singing verse. Three and 4 and 4 E and or down. Our little pickup note, don't forget it. And there we go. That's our slow run through. If you need to practice that one, please do over and over again, because this time we're at full speed. You ready? 1, 2. Let's get our tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. It's quick, isn't it? And once more high. And lower. How about that? Okay, so that's at our full speed. Well done with making it this far at that tempo. It's fantastic. Now, this song is called Love Strikes. Before you close the video, let us know in the comments when love first struck you. What age were you when you first fell in love? I was, I think, about 12 years old. There was a girl at school, biggest crush. I would listen to songs all night and think about her. Anyway, while you're on the internet, make sure you leave your comment below, subscribe, find us on all your social media at HDpiano, request your songs at requests.hdpiano.com. My name is Dion. I'll see you at the next part over at hdpiano.com, and bye for now.